So, picking up from the last session directly, you find yourself in the guest house mushroom, I guess we'd call it, with the massive library available and the various members of Alice's group, each kind of taking their own spot as you guys take your own seats. And Alice looks to each of you and quietly speaks. God, friends are way over there. And she looks at each of you as she speaks. I know you've been talking. I know you've been plotting. That much is obvious. I know what you've been talking about. So, she looks over at you, Angelo, and she's like, I don't trust you.
I wouldn't trust me either, but here we are.
No, here you are, and the only thing that is keeping you alive are the three others. Know that if you so much as twitch in the wrong direction, I'm going to be administering a cure.
Damn.
So, let's clear the air, shall we? And, your teas all have unique smells to them. Cayenne, do an insight for me.
I got a 18.
As you're looking at your tea, you kind of would guess look over at Angelo's as he's looking at his, and you kind of instantly understand that the tea that was brewed for Angelo is brewed from the flowers that you would have at various funerals. It's not a, hey, here's tea. It is a proverbial threat in a liquid form of what your future could be.
Okay.
I like this.
That's pretty
Understandable.
You don't know this, Angelo. You're just like, oh, it's tea. Meanwhile, Cayenne is just looking you up and down. What's going on? You do pick up that Mongo's tea has got notes of catnip and subtle notes of psychedelic mushrooms.
Sweet. Is the time wizard going to go on a trip?
The time wizard is going to create symphonies with portals.
I don't know, right now Mongo's the transmutation wizard, so
Okay.
I don't know if that has anything to play into it.
Cayenne, you could choose to intervene with Nikolai's. You kind of takes you a moment to pick up on the notes of his, and you realize that per the status quo right now, they figure that his would be special, and you get hints of green tea, espresso, and cocaine.
Sweet. No, just let it happen. Just let it happen.
Don't blink, Drake.
Then that may or may not require Cayenne killing Nikolai, reviving him, and then bringing him back so he acts correctly.
God, why does this sound just like a drink from the 80s?
It
No?
probably
I'm
was.
just
It
about to
probably
say.
still is a legitimate drink today. Like, no joke. I mean, Coca-Cola does still, in fact, in their recipe today, does still brew Coca-Cola using coca leaves.
Yep,
Yeah.
but they removed the
Mhm.
toxin part.
Yep.
Because everybody
Yep,
got
yep.
upsetty spaghetti. So, that you scope out the teas. Yours, cayenne, is just like this really beautiful melody of relaxation herbs. Nothing like nefarious.
Cayenne would definitely offer some of her pouch to add to said tea. Would offer it to Alice.
There'll be a time for that. She has a book sitting on her lap and she opens it. So, shall we from the top? Shut up, mouse. Nobody asked your opinion.
What? Wait.
Um,
I thought I'm not part of the conversation.
She taps her finger on the book and her index finger. According to you, I am something that I'm not. But according to my book, I have memories. If I am what you say I am, then I am not what's in this book. How is that possible? When they're so tangible to me to remember. I remember my family being killed. I remember the ashes and burning of my family. I remember being dragged to the madhouse and the experiments that they did on me. If you say what I am and I am not, then how am I this that I remember?
Cayenne, sister, she's asking direct questions. I can only answer direct responses of thoughts. But you told me not to say anything, so we're in a conundrum.
So she's essentially she's trying to get at trying to understand how she's a deity instead of being who she is perceived as.
Yeah,
Essentially?
she basically has memories of her mortal life, but how can she be a deity if she has those memories?
Is this gonna be a moment where Cayenne has to have a field trip with her?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Nikolai, I don't suppose you ever got around to actually writing down that spell that we got while we were in the really hot place?
No, but I definitely know it. I can do so.
Might come in handy about now.
No, I do have a little something that could make it interesting. Pull out the a black cigar from the box of magic cigars.
You have all your stuff, or do you not have anything anymore? Because, like, you were...
I still have my stuff. It's just I don't have any of my former abilities.
I thought you were, like, vaporized, or basically ashed.
What he was wearing was ash, but all of his pack stuff was still in his room.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I was getting. I was like, you have your stuff. Okay, so this is just player to GM question. The spell that Mongo's asking Nikolai about is not a spell
Modify
that
memory.
Nikolai. Yeah, modify. It's not a spell that Nikolai can cast, nor by either class or level. But he does have it in his memory, and I did a good roll on memorizing it. So, like, how long would it take to just write it down?
Take at least an hour to make sure it's correct. I don't think that's a smart play to try and mess with Alice's memories.
Wasn't going to try to mess with her memories. Was going to try to unlock them.
Ah,
Oh yeah. If
If I
I
have
may,
access to the spell, if somehow her memories did get modified,
you're
best
like
way
trying
to
like reverse engineer the spell to like fix that.
Mongo, you
Yeah.
can actually do an identify on her to try to understand that. You just might need to burn a lot of spell slots.
If I may, Alice, I've been taught how to not manipulate, but effect my own memory, so that I can see through misperceptions. I could try to help you with some of that.
Let me finish the story.
Okay. I'm gonna start writing down the
After-
spell.
Spending among many passing days and years within the asylum, it eventually fell, and I found myself in a strange land, much like yourselves. The first person I met, and she motions casually, was Hatter. And then eventually the others kind of fell in place as well. I distinctly remember the Queen of Hearts at the funeral pyre of my home and my family. So, how can that be explained if I am not who I am and I am something else?
Can we respond now?
You guys can, it's open discussion.
Well, yeah, this is just Nikolai. He keeps on being shushed, so when he thinks it's the time to say anything, so well, from what I understand of your colleague Hook, you guys all come from a place that didn't have magic in the way that it is here. And magic can do some pretty insane things, completely changing and destroying someone's memories.
She brings a hand up and she clutches the top of the book. And she looks in your direction, Nikolai. And you can see that deep abyss. And I need each of you to make a will save.
Oh crap, I
Oh,
forgot my dice. Dang it. Nikolai's going to die today because I'm rolling digital dice.
think
That's
positively.
gonna be a big fat
I'm
11.
quite positive that Nikolai's going to die today because he's rolling digital
And
dice.
A natural 20.
I was going to borrow one more.
That's alright. I got
It's
it
a
here.
modified 21.
Just gotta get the dice to roll. Why won't it roll? Okay. Wow. Why do the dice roll so slowly on the computer?
Holy shit, one eternity later.
One eternity later. Guess that's a 12?
Angelo and Nikolai, you're hit by it the hardest, but each of you, as she clutches the book and she narrows her glance at Nikolai, you feel that madness of her twist around you like vines. And Mongo and Cayenne, you briefly get a glimpse of it. You can smell the embers and you can smell the blood as you get a glimpse of the Red Queen decapitating both of her parents in a sitting room, staining the books red. Nikolai and Angelo, you guys are standing in this room. You can smell the smoke from the fireplaces, the carpet is burning, and you see as Alice is restrained by these strange, flat-like individuals. And the queen decapitates her mother first and then her father. And the queen picks up the mother's head and says, "Oh, don't cry, darling. Don't cry. It's going to all be okay. It's going to be great." And suddenly you're snapped right back here after seeing that.
Well then.
Can Nikolai take a moment to use what he just saw and what Kippa taught him to kind of like go back and study the scene to look for any reality inconsistencies?
Yeah.
Something that may look like it was an altered memory?
Roll an intelligence.
Just an intelligence or investigation or
Yeah, do an investigation. How are you feeling about that, Angela?
Definitely interesting. Let's be honest, probably not the craziest thing he's seen, but definitely up there.
I think it's going to be a 24.
Huh.
The tendrils of madness kind of pull away from you guys, and you kind of take it off a little bit, and you kind of try and study a little bit, Nikolai. It's kind of dead center in the middle. Your instinct is saying that it's false, but your heart says it's real.
Yeah, I'll share that with her. Alice, not to disregard your feelings about this situation, but there's something very off, unreal about that memory you just shared, which potentially says that it might have been manipulated in some way or shape or form. And I explain what I understand as to like what Nikolai understands as to why that is. Nikolai is way smarter than me, so.
And the other purple elephant in the room. Do an investigation real quick.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Each of us, huh?
Yeah.
17.
Ten.
Natural 20, maybe? Nope. 22,
Modified
looks like.
20.
Again with the modified 20.
22 for Nikolai.
As she says, points out the elephant in the room, you feel something bump your chair, Cayenne, and you look over your shoulder, and you see this giant purple elephant hunched over, trying to hide behind a book, and its eyes go wide, and you guys are looking at this elephant as well, and it just poops out of existence, and the book falls in your hand. And you look at the book, and it's a botany book.
Huh.
I'll start looking through the botany book to see if there's clues as to what this purple elephant could actually be.
Mongo's now wrestling with the fact that there was a literal elephant in the room. You can do an investigation on that, Kaya.
That's a 12.
It's a little overwhelming at first, but it is a book that you're going to want to keep close to you. In a sense that it's a book, it's a druid book on how to animate fern sculptures of animals.
Interesting.
How to animate fern sculptures.
So you know, like the giant bushes that they sculpt into shapes of
Mhm.
animals.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
Topiary.
ability that allows you to actually animate those for use.
Making topiaries.
Interesting.
That's pretty. And animate them? Whoa, that's cool.
Okay, that actually is pretty cool.
Quick question.
Yeah.
How long was that elephant there? How the fuck did we miss him?
The Hatter looked over. Well, he's only been there as long as you've been looking for him. Or her.
So am I the only one who's thinking, Alice, that you possess the ability to alter reality in this realm?
Who says it's only this room? It could be other places as well.
Realm.
Realm. I heard room. Sorry.
I don't know about that. I do know that my associates can do various things on their own. Cheshire appears and you can see the smoke wisp off of Cheshire, and she reaches out and she grabs it. You can see the croquet mallet form in her hand. And then a bottle of shape appears, and she reaches out and she lets it drop into her hand, and she catches it. You see it fully form into a wine bottle with the cork on it. And the Cheshire just fades away into smoke once again.
Seriously, I've got to spend some time talking to your friend there. How the fuck do they do some of this stuff? I'd love to learn how.
I'm not sure what the extent of what I can do is. But as you can see, my colleagues are specialized in their own field of expertise.
Well, there is a spell that some of us know that kind of lets us peer into the history of objects and people with their permission, of course. I've also spent a lot of time in the company of a chronomancer and picked up one or two things. Put all that together, pump enough energy into it, we might be able to see your history.
I hope that you can sleep soundly if you do that. I'm willing. But
Another
Host.
reason why I want Nikolai to finish that is because if it is too much, then, you know, I can blink that out of existence.
But the only one that will not be present for that is your former undead friend of
Fangless face?
Fangless
That doesn't
face.
sound
Call him Toothless. There you
Each of my comrades are aware that I keep them alive to a certain degree. She looks directly at you, Nikolai.
go.
And, as I stated earlier, I'm aware of everything. And she snaps her finger, and you see each of them fall like a puppet, like the strings were cut, lifeless on the ground. This is what happens when I release them. They're no longer alive.
Huh.
You see the Patter's sitting there, his eyes staring up blankly at the air. The rabbit just kind of goes completely limp. The dormouse just collapses on the ground like an unused puppet.
Well then. That's definitely something very interesting.
Are they aware?
They are aware. And she snaps her fingers again, and the dormouse sits up and goes, oh, oh, oh. And looks at what she was eating, and it's like, maybe I shouldn't eat any more of that. That's quite unpleasant. Maybe later. I blacked out there for a moment.
That feels all too familiar.
Oh, shit. And Patter looks around adjusting his hat. He's like, it's been a long day.
Well, I think if they are aware and they still wish to be with you, then you are not as maligned as you think you are.
I will put this offer out there. Once again, as I came upon each of them, and each of them I made a pact with, I will repeat it once again. You are free to go about your own ways. They have chosen to stay with me and fight my war.
Well, there you go.
And she just brings her other... She stands up and sets the book down in her chair. And she reaches out and she summons that Vorpal blade, and she drops it point down in front of you, Nikolai, and it hits the ground and sticks straight up. You wanted to examine it.
Yes.
Then pick it up and examine it.
Totally will.
You go over, and as soon as your hand touches it, Nikolai,
Mm-hmm.
your hit points begin draining instantly.
Whoa. Ow.
You can feel like your actual essence being drained. Cayenne, do a religion. Mongo, you can do an insight.
I got a 10.
A 10?
Insight.
You're watching poor Nikolai get the bad touch from the blade.
17.
Mongo, you can choose to do this if you want. You're realizing that the Vorpal blade is beginning to literally drain the essence out of Nikolai, and it will consume him completely.
Nikolai, how you feeling?
Weird. I'm trying to figure out like what this is doing and how it relates to the plans I saw. Put it
Yeah,
down.
you
for a
might
moment,
wanna
pull
put
out
it
the
down,
plans. pull out the copy of my plans and kind of like trying to figure out like what is making that. What is causing that effect?
Might want to find a way to do that pause off.
Cayenne, you could choose to try to pick it up if you want.
You know what? Why not? We'll try to see if I can touch this blade.
Nikolai, you were not actually able to budge it from where it was pointed in the ground.
Huh.
It was kind of like trying to pick up Thor's hammer and you couldn't even move it.
Oh, wow.
Cayenne, you go over and you put your hand around it and you feel the cool metal on your hand of the handle and you pick it up from the ground and you can feel the weight of the responsibility of this blade. It's unnerving. And you could also slightly hear the whispers of everything that it's killed.
Do I catch, like, obviously Alice is the owner of this, but have I seen, like, or heard anyone that might be familiar as a previous owner of this blade?
No? And Nikolai, you're looking at your sister hold this blade and she possibly has a confused look on her face and you're like, oh.
Are you okay? Feeling weird?
It's cold.
Did I feel coldness when
Am I
I
supposed
picked it or touched it?
You felt impending doom, Nikolai.
Not necessarily coldness, but I can see how that could relate.
I mean, there's a weight to this. Due to responsibility. It's unnerving, that's about it. I don't know what other thing you're looking for.
He wants to make one for himself.
Not gonna happen.
Why not?
I will remove your arms first.
You're not the boss of
And-
me.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh. Oh, we want to play that card. Okay. I'll remember that the next time you're drawing one of your last few breaths.
That's
I'll
different.
remember this.
The hair-
I'll remember that.
the hair
You sweet,
looks
sweet
over.
mouth.
I love it. The hair looks over.
Who thinks he has any power?
The little plushy paladin speaks up. May I interject a quandary and an idea?
Please.
And you see this little stuffed animal walk over and look up at you with its little button eyes. Perhaps, if this one is so creative and has the concepts, why don't they forge you something that is of use of the same thing?
Because he seemed to suffer some sort of negativity just by touching this as a completed product.
Hatterer looks over. Well, it is an interesting quandary, and it's also an interesting thing that has happened. But Alice's blade is madness incarnate. The tip of her will.
As
Perhaps if the mouse forges something for you, perhaps. And you see him get up and walk over, and you see him pull out a tape measure, and he measures Nikolai briefly. And measures Mongo as well, and it especially takes a few moments to measure Angelo. Perhaps its intuition of the blade will be different under your grasp as opposed to holding the one that is under Alice's.
That's what I was trying to get at. Like, maybe it's for the user. Maybe there's something here with my experience in handling the blade as I have that I can connect with the way the designs are for a similar blade, and maybe it can be tailored for the user in some way.
That'd be something for you and Mongo to work on. As you look at your hand, Cayenne, the blade just disappears into smoke.
Most deities do have signature weapons.
Yeah, that is true.
That is true.
Perhaps this is hers and can give us insight on how you get yours.
Mostly the only thing I had even been using as weapons is what I was given back home.
Fond of
Or
them,
my
are you?
body. It's either my glaive or my body. It's one of the two I've been using.
Hatter just finishes
Effectively, I
some
might add.
measurements and pulls out a scroll and writes down the notes that he took. Ah. 3, just in case. And you realize what he did. He took, it's obvious to you, Cayenne, because of Osling. He took coffin measurements of each of the group party members.
Of course.
Except you.
I mean, it is beneficial information to have. It saves time planning for the inevitable future. Oh.
And Hatter walks to the door. And if you question my loyalty to her again, I will make sure that these notes find you. And closes the door as he heads out.
What? Who questioned your loyalty?
So at this time, you guys can spreading out and actually just kind of like getting to know the party members and doing things solo as the camp is now fully open to you. We'll start with you, Angelo. Where are you headed off to?
I'll try and figure out this new strange concept of life that I've not felt in so long. Let's see. What would be the most likely person to speak to in this situation? You know what? Let's go with one of the two brothers. Mongo.
Oh god.
Oh god. Gee.
Yes, I'll go look for Mongo.
Mongo's
like,
looking for the Cheshire Cat.
You
Once
see him walk-
everyone's like gone their own way.
Yeah, and Cayenne, where are you off to?
Cayenne was gonna go either outside to find some kind of flower or see some kind of creature
All right.
outside just to relax and meditate after dealing with bullshit.
All right. Do
That's
a
finally over for now.
yeah, do a nature. Nikolai, what about you, bud?
Well, he'll look over to Mongo. You still want me to get that spell down for you? Yes? Okay.
Sorry, Julie. Yeah, if you could,
Well,
might be able to use it to unlock some of the memories, not necessarily modify them.
I get
Just
what- I
if
get
she
what you're
repressed
thinking
something,
about.
it might
Yeah, I get what you're thinking about. It's like how I made the mask of breathing when we were dealing with those spores. Is just kind of
Yeah.
taking the concept of changing, what you were taking in to be oxygen. Well, I was just changing it from making sure that the only thing that's taking in is getting oxygen. So yeah.
Cayenne,
Um,
Yes.
as
I got
you
23.
okay, as you head out, you start to head for the forest, and the dormouse catches you, and she's like, hold on. And she reaches in her side pouch, and she pulls out a key that looks like it just came out of a bag of holding, and it's an old, rusty, like, key, and she holds it up to you. Take that with you. That way you don't get lost forever.
Thank you.
Don't
That's
lose
very
that.
helpful.
It's your only way back.
I will put it on my inside pocket.
Okay. Have fun.
Alrighty, so
I will give a wave and go off.
okay, Mongo, do you want me to use any special parchment or ink, or do you just need the arcane words that I have in my brain put down on the paper? Because I can make a scroll, but I can only make it in the form of my magic. But this isn't a spell of mine, so I don't know what you actually need from me on this.
I feel Longo would know the answer to this.
A standard scroll will be fine for you. Anything
No,
else,
just
anything else would just improve its quality, but that's more so for you to take care of.
just standard should do the trick.
Okay. Alright. Okay. I'll look around. The dormouse seems to be like the camp ranger kind of person, right? Like she's the one that's familiar with the area, the place, the secured the perimeter kind of stuff. It seems like seems like to have like control of the area. Is that a proper understanding there, GM?
Yeah.
Okay. Just trying to think here.
Cayenne, you wander off into the forest and enjoy the ambient sounds. You pause for a moment, and you listen, and the ambient sounds kind of repeat at times. And you raise an eyebrow, and you kind of think for a moment. If you weren't a druid, you really wouldn't pick up on it. And you realize that this entire forest, as beautiful it is, and real as it is a direct manifestation possibly from that house. But you pick a leaf up, and you look at it, and you bite on it for a moment, and you're like, no, that's a real leaf. This is a real forest, but it's not perfect. So you understand that the forest is drawn from her own memories of what she has seen and heard in the actual forest.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
But you do come to a clearing after you wander around this forest, and you pause for a moment and you see a small hill. And you see this massive tree that doesn't fit any of the environment. It's almost like a giant umbrella that's just... The entire tree is almost like translucent and beads of light flowing throughout the branches to the leaves. And as you move closer and you look up at the underside of this giant umbrella of a tree, you see hundreds and hundreds of notes hanging from it, and holy symbols and other ornaments jingling in the subtle wind like wind chimes. And you've never seen anything like this.
I will carefully and respectfully step closer to try to understand what this tree could be. I think I have a guess, but I just want to be sure that my guess is not wrong.
Yeah, you get closer to it and you can feel almost what is very similar to divine energy coming off it. And you look up and you can see that there's wooden boxes with notes in it and holy symbols from various gods, and you can see notes that have been bound in cord, other notes presented in folded up manners, and all hinting at different heights, all the branches decorated. And you can see new branches are starting to grow from this actual tree, not yet fully developed. And yeah, you can approach and get closer.
I will do that.
You put your hand on the tree.
I will check to make sure that that's a smart idea to do.
You reach out to do that, and you pause for a moment. You're like, "Oh, I'm not going to be like my brothers and touch random objects without thinking about it."
Because while I may be a druid in nature, the tree can still talk.
You hear a voice behind you. Oh, a new guest to my tree. A divine guest. Have you come to water my tree?
I will very carefully turn.
You turn around and you almost fall backwards because this person is standing like within an inch of you, and you instantly have to look up a little bit at them as they look down at you, and she's like, "Oh, my darling, I didn't mean to startle you. I thought you would have heard me coming." And you're looking at this person that you've never encountered, wearing these beautiful multicolored robes. Dozens of tattoos covering her body, and you can see how old she is, as she has a giant staff leaning against her shoulder. Do a nature roll.
Okay, dice, I'll take that. That's a natural 20.
From the research and things that you've done, you back away ever so slightly from her. Now you're stuck between the tree and her, with like no room to navigate. And you're looking at this massive, very old anthropomorphic Triceratops. She is thick, she is stocky, but she is somehow quiet and elegant. And you realize that she is not a normal divine. She is a witch of some sort.
Oh, goody.
A witch triceratops. A witch ancient triceratops. That's pretty crazy.
She's like, oh, sorry. She takes a few steps back. I don't mean to ouch you.
Okay, I didn't hear you. I'd never seen this tree before.
The tree and I, we travel, and we tend to find those that the tree is looking for, or the people that are looking for the tree. It's confusing sometimes, but here we are, and here's the tree, and here's the keeper of the tree, which is myself.
And it is very lovely to meet you.
Ah, it is good to meet you too, Gamora.
Wait a minute. You're not supposed to just know that name.
It's like one of those. What was it? Oh God, what was it? Yeah, and My Neighbor Totoro, where the little
Oh.
soot monsters make the hair just raise up on the back of the neck. That was the exact reaction. Like, how dare you? Why you do this? You're not supposed to just call me that without asking first.
She walks with her staff a little bit away from you and looks up at the tree, walks over and pats it gently. I am Bala. Well, that's what most refer to me as. One of the divine witches, as you people like to put titles on things. You can do an insight, Cayenne, with advantage.
Fine. Wow, my dice are slow. Okay, with advantage is a 9. 'Cause
Oof.
the second roll was a 1.
You are unsettled as fuck by this lady.
I know that her mentioning watering the tree, Cayenne definitely would have looked to the tree to look for signs that it definitely did. If it needed watering, she definitely would.
She looks over at you and she's like, oh, it's easy to water. Just a few drops of your blood. That's all it requires.
Feed the tree. As soon as you said blood, for some reason, all I heard in my brain immediately heard, feed me, feed me.
Not the only one.
Do you do as she asks?
Yeah.
And as you give your blood to the tree, you can see it just sinks into that hill it's on, and she's like, and she just smiles, and she lets out another like exasperation, and she's like, and the deal is done. No, don't worry, it's not for you, it's for your mother.
Ah.
You can do another
Well,
insight.
yeah.
He just willingly gave your deity blood to an ancient witch. Great. Without even
Without so much as a
Insight.
second thought.
Insight was a 9.
You are terrified at this moment.
Oh
Cayenne.
shit, what I do?
Yep.
I suppose that you're at a loss and you need an explanation.
If you don't mind, that would be beneficial. For one, you mentioned a name I do not mention to many. And two, you mentioned my mother.
Ah, yes.
Not many individuals outside of those of blood and or marriage relation know of my mother.
Ah, yes. Bridget. She walks among the living again. We sat under the tree, we spoke, and she made a deal with me.
I'm assuming that she is able to fulfill her deal now that she is back within the living due to it being cut short due to her passing? Am I getting that correctly?
The deal's been fulfilled with your donation of blood.
Okay.
She looks at you and she smiles a little bit, and those wrinkles just make her somehow more beautiful. And she's like, I clearly have you at a loss, and as much as I enjoy it like my sisters would, I should probably explain things.
If you would like to, I won't pressure you.
Oh,
I'm going to be honest, it was a bit unnerving when you appeared without sound.
I'm light on my feet. You can do another, you can do a wisdom if you want, Cayenne.
That's a... That's a 6.
You are definitely caught off guard.
The dice are rolling perfect right now.
Yeah. She looks at you and she walks to the tree and she pats the tree and rubs it a little bit. She's like, I'm most happy. Your mother came to me after my sisters would not fulfill her needs without a steep cost. And I fulfilled those needs that she needed fixed. And she walks over to you and she's practically in your face, eye to eye, and she's like, your mother was barren and I permitted her to have children.
Oh, wow.
At the cost
Oh.
of one day, her child comes to me and feeds the tree.
And I fed the tree. Okay.
It was a simple
that's
deal.
not- That was not terrifying at all.
And you realize, as you look at this powerful witch before you, it sinks into your stomach that your mother was desperate enough at one point that she sought out one of the Yaga mother witches, if not a bunch of them, to try and resolve her issue.
Well, I guess she is taking place as grandma. Just saying. I'm sorry, but Cosmic Unicorn bitch is a bitch. She can stay there. I'd rather call her grandma instead.
So, I fixed what was unable to be done, and she had a beautiful daughter.
I know that this may be a bit of information, but you helped her doubly.
She turns around. There's multiple? Oh, my heart swells with warmth.
I do have a twin. She's not here with me right now. She's busy with her life, but I do have a twin. So you helped my mother greatly.
Tell her I said hi.
Of course. I'm sure my sister would absolutely love to meet you and give you her thanks. Because if not for you, truly, neither of us would be here.
The cosmic balance works in strange ways to provide, to make sure the scales are just tipped perfectly. Oh, don't, oh. I'm never going to say that again, because I will never hear the end of it from the Cosmic Turtle. We have too many arguments.
Of course a turtle would argue with a triceratops.
Yeah. Come, sit under the tree. You're my guest. No
I-
strange deals.
I will definitely go and sit with her under the tree and enjoy the time.
Per the chat, Cayenne would turn Nikolai into a finger puppet before she allows you to make one of these essence-devouring horrors.
If you were able to turn the blade into something like doing some kind of holy blood transfusion, now that would be cool.
You might be able to. Switching back over to the boys as you spend time with your new grandma. I also sent you the name.
I'm nice. Yeah, she's definitely grandma.
Hi, Scranton. Well, I mentioned you come running over here. Back to you guys. What are you doing?
Well, I'll. It is my understanding from some of the descriptions that you have provided that some of the conversations by the mad people in this camp are quite distracting. So in order to not make a mistake while transcribing this spell for Mongo, I'm going to try to find the camp keeper, dormouse person, and ask if she can help me find a place that is completely free from distractions of their insanity in the most nice way I could possibly come up with it.
You find her, and you can see her. She has like her pack unrolled as she's sitting there. And as you look at the pack, you can. Mongo, did you go with him?
It's gonna try to find the Cheshire Cat.
Okay. Nikolai, you look at it,
Mhm.
what she has unrolled in front of her, and it basically would make it a table and a party in the 80s blush.
What are you doing there, friend?
She looks up. Oh! Figuring out new mixtures. And she has a notepad, and you look at the notepad, and it's just a bunch of scribbles. There is no discernible words in there in any comprehensible language. It's just a bunch of scribbles. She's like, I'm figuring out new combinations to try and experiment with.
What exactly are you looking for in your experimentation?
Well, you know, something that makes the forest come alive.
Ah, interesting. Speaking of which, I have a very important thing I need to do for a couple hours that requires clear thought of mind, free from distraction. And I seem to gather that you might have some type of sway of the environment. And although our companions, your close companions, do have lively and entertaining discussions,
Always.
I need to be free from those distractions for a couple hours. Is there
She
a
looks
place
at-
you can point me to help me with that?
She scratches inside her face. How are they distracting? They're quite insightful.
I get that, but I need to I need to be able to concentrate and not be distracted. The intrigue of the conversations tend to pull me away from my thoughts.
She hands you a rusty lockbox key.
Oh, thank you. Where's this? Where'd this go?
Don't lose that.
Okay.
And she reaches up and she shoves you backwards, and you fall through one of those portals. And
Ah!
you tumble backwards, and the key slides away from you. And you reach out and you grab it, and you look over, and you're in a padded cell. And as you go to the door and you look out, It is pure darkness.
Hello?
You don't even hear an echo of your voice.
Huh. Okay. Well, I'll figure out how to get out later.
There is a spot on the door for that key.
You check to see, does it look like it actually fits in the door?
It does.
Okay.
Mongo, you saw what the Dormouse just did to Nikolai as you're looking for the Cheshire.
There.
And she just kind of brushes her hands off. She's like, "Ah, I hope he enjoys."
Is there anything in this room?
Love the theater.
Like a table or anything?
There's nothing. It's a padded cell on all sides, even the door. Just the only thing is the slit in the door and the key slot.
Huh. Okay. Well, all right. I'll pull out my bag of holding and fashion some type of writing table to sit down cross-legged and have a table to use.
Do you put the key in a secure place?
Yeah, I'll put that in my bag of holding.
Okay.
And this is how Nikolai invents the stand-up desk.
What are you doing, Mongo?
See the dormouse?
Yeah, and she turns back around and she starts looking through her various remedies, and she reaches over with a rude-looking piece of writing utensil and scribbles on the notepad.
Sorry to interrupt. Where did Nikolai go?
Oh! He went to the place where Alice said never to send people, but he wanted quiet, so it's one of the best places to send you.
Fuck.
Anna? I don't suppose you know where your feline friend has scampered off to.
She looks at you and tilts her head a little bit. Ah. Oh! Cheshire. Cheshire and Alice went
Yes.
somewhere. They... Not for me to pry. Yeah, you can do an insight on her notepad and her various instruments.
Oh, this might hurt Mongo to see somebody's notes about making things. Or not. 7
It hurts so
modified.
bad. You're like, that is a lot of uppers and downers, and those notes, there is literally no notes there. That is just scribbles of insanity.
The product of an unhappy.
Or could it be a product of a very happy mind?
And Angela walks up behind you and startles you as you're trying to focus on making sense of it.
Well, hello there.
Yeah!
A little bit jumpy now, are we?
I'm punching him in the kneecap.
It hurts more than it should, Angela.
Oh, ow. Well, a little bit of a good swing there now, don't you? Feisty little bastard.
Excuse me, my parents are perfectly fine.
So, you're a wizard. One of the little bit of the wiggly finger types, correct?
One of the pointy hats, yes.
But I saw you cast a warlock spell.
Not possible, because I'm not one.
Right. Well,
What was in your tea?
a bunch of flowers? I don't know.
Okay, true. Tea is basically just leaf juice. All right. Fucking pets.
Friend, did you or did you not cast an Eldritch Blast, though?
I haven't cast anything today.
No, when we were fighting the Fae the other day.
Oh, that fucking asshole. I literally hit him with everything I fucking could. I channeled pretty much everything that I could into one big blast in the hope that that would do it, but that was basically useless.
Hmm.
So towards the end there, I pretty much just did anything that I could think of. If I'm right, the one that you're referring to, that's not exactly a spell. Just kind of charged up some of the ambient magical energy and just focused it into a concussive blast. It's so fucking basic. It literally, and I'm just gonna like wave my hand and prestidigitate the spell of mint in front of his nose.
Huh.
Like, that is more difficult.
I beg to differ. What you did is something that a very small handful of us can actually do. Still, I find it impressive. You are a wizard, and that you are very well versed and studied in magic. That I can respect.
Except I never studied how to do that. That just sort of happens. Usually when I'm pissed.
Ah. Now
Most
that is
spells, when you-
most curious.
Most spells you have to at least stay level-headed and calm enough. Some of them require a great amount of concentration. But, like, that particular one is so... I'm trying to find a better word to use other than remedial, but yeah, let's go with that. That most of us just don't even bother.
Range. Then again, you lot are a very strange and interesting crew.
Just for the sake of home game, to clarify, Mongo has no idea that he's casting Eldritch Blast. He explained it to the best that he understands on what's going on.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is a rather interesting new life. Unlife?
Second life?
A second life, I
Second chance?
suppose. I don't know.
You didn't happen to come across a green mushroom in your travels at some point in time, have you?
Hmm. Pretty
Thank
sure
you,
there's
somebody getting that reference.
usually those are pretty nasty where I'm from.
My God.
You hear behind you, Mungo, as you're talking to Angela. Huh. The concentrated juice from a mushroom plus this could actually have an interesting result.
If I look at what the reference to this is,
You can do a alchemy on that.
oh, what have we been using for that one?
Intelligence, I think.
Yeah, but Shit. All right. Natural 20.
You look over
Nice.
and you can see that the two vials that she has pulled out, one is basically pure concentrated distilled psychedelic mushroom juice, and the other one is basically morphine.
Oh, fuck.
Nice.
Oh, so the fun stuff.
Good night, nurse.
So your little brother, the mouse. You mind explaining how that works? I mean, cat, mouse, satyr, apparently gem kobold as well. How are any of you even related?
We're family.
Per chat. Feed me, Seymour.
Right.
Look, we're not exactly related by blood, in case that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, lots of spilt blood.
That much is obvious.
That's a fucking truth.
Your father was a very prolific bard.
Yes, he was. When it came to certain things, Maggie had no fear.
Make your paws curl.
Oh yeah, no, some of those stories I don't want to know. Ever.
I got a whole page of them.
And you can keep that page. Effectively, our parents, in Nikolai's case, two mouse folk, two feely folk of the Munchkin variety, and so on, became good friends, traveled around, got into some very serious shenanigans, to put it mildly, and kind of understate the hell out of it.
Not this. Oh, go ahead.
And eventually kind of looked at each other as chosen family members. And some of us were raised together and look upon each other as brothers and sisters.
If I'm not mistaken, your family did pay a visit to Lord Victor's realm at one point.
Once or twice.
Angela, you almost expect a tinge of pain of burning up the Obscura and Lord Victor, but it doesn't happen.
Huh. Before I became one of his empiricists, I was a cleric traveling with my family. Rather, one in
Interesting.
training. I will not lie. I've done very terrible things, but I've also done good things as well.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the clerical variety, not always big on paperwork, some of them, but usually follow some sort of deity at some point.
For the most part, yes, but as you know, no such things exist within Victor's realm. As such, you follow ideals. Oftentimes, ideas can be rather scary and powerful.
True. What were the ones that you followed before?
Simply the idea of overcoming obscurity, overcoming adversity, the need and will to live and thrive in a place where death precedes all. Not easy when you're blind. Needless to say,
You're blind?
Victor's gift I accepted willingly. And yes, or rather I was.
You
And I
hear
was
the,
just gonna say that explains some of your fashion choices.
you hear the dormouse. Ooh, gonna take a little bit of this, and you'll see multiple things.
I will casually look over his shoulder to see what terrifying beverage he's cooked up this time.
Doing the same as well.
She holds up a concoction, and it's sparkling a little bit. She's like, "This will allow you to see and touch and taste the stars."
The waters?
The stars, I believe the little mouse has said. That sounds interesting. Perhaps you should try that first for yourself.
And she just
What
downs the
all
entire
did you
vial.
throw in there?
She downs the entire vial and lets out a small "Bloop," and immediately falls off the table and you hear a neck snap.
Oh fuck.
Oh fuck. We killed her.
I think they'll be alright. If what Alice said is true, they should be perfectly fine. I think. Maybe.
Moments go by.
Still staring at it.
Some leaves blow by.
Okay. This is a which one was this one?
The dormouse.
Okay, so I should be able to pick her up and carry her.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Yep. I think we need to find Alice.
You go and scoop her up and you start walking and she immediately springs to life in your arms and goes, "Oh my god." That was a lot of fun. I'm flying.
So how do the stars taste?
Oh. Huh. She licks your face.
Oh.
Cat. They taste like cat.
Oh,
Did you make a will save, Mongo?
Oh fuck.
apparently even the mice like the taste of cat. It's not just the
I don't know if
birds.
an 18 is high enough.
As she licks you and she breathes in your face, you manage to fight off the rolling off effects of her drug-induced insanity.
Oh. Putting the mouse down very quickly and just old school cleaning.
And she just kind of stands there and she's like, "Oh, well, it's good that I'm back because two of you are out and about, and if I don't come back, then they don't come back, and then everybody's lost. Anyway, I'll be in camp." Then she wanders off.
Huh.
What the hell did they make?
I don't know, and frankly, I don't think I want to know.
As you two stand there contemplating whatever the hell just happened, Nikolai, go ahead and roll me a sleight of paw to work on this note.
A sleight of paw, huh?
Yeah. Mungo, what are you doing?
Well, thanks to a conversation with Fangless over here.
An
'Cause, like-
existential crisis.
No. But Mongo has spent some time with a few deities and wondering if one of them left a parting note. Or maybe something the folks did left in imprint of some form or another.
Be a 19.
All right. So, repeat that, please, Mungo.
Mongo has spent some time with some deities, so maybe one of them left something.
An input. Yeah, go ahead and do a religion on that. Guess what, Nikolai? I forgot. Nice.
Yep.
Again?
Yep.
Oh, well.
Wow.
Dice rolls aren't too bad, so I don't have any wood anywhere.
Well,
Save
I
myself.
guess that'll work. That's a
think
modified 20. Or, sorry, natural.
a
Nice.
natural 20. It could be
Yes.
something. It could also be you surmise about it and think about it a little bit more, and you have another possibility that your
Okay.
interaction with the various divine has allowed you to actually conjure it on your own based off of emotion and not a divine influence.
Interesting. Kaya never did say that she feels any divinity or profanity. Well, she's heard plenty of profanity from Mongo, but never sensed any.
Probably smelt some profanity too. Every once in a while.
What was your roll, Nikolai?
19.
19? It's coming along pretty well, and you're double checking your notes just to make sure it adds up to what is in your head at the moment.
Yeah. Cool.
Cayenne, swinging over to you, you're having essentially like a mystery meat stew with the newfound grandma, and she looks over at you and she's like, Lassie, I'm sure you have questions, and I'll try to answer them as best as you can, so have at. I can see it on your face. As
I want to more so know how my mother came about you, how she heard about you.
Once upon a time, a long time ago, when things were a different kind of way of interesting, as you can put it, a little bit more exciting when I had more youth in my bones. But witches and the druids tend to work hand in hand as well as, I suppose, yeah, what are they called? Shamans. It was kind of mutual understanding. We handle different aspects of nature. And, well, us Yagas are rather revered for our abilities. And we're considered the archmatrons of the divine, or profane. Well, both, actually. And your mother, from what I understand, she and your father couldn't procreate. So she got desperate, as anyone would. And she sought out, oh, I suppose she tried clerics first and paladins first. And, well, let's just say, on typical terms, gods can't really procreate with mortals. So, she decided to weigh the options of the different Yagas and the deals that needed to be done.
That makes sense. She wanted to find an agreement that was balanced.
Oh, my sisters are cruel, cruel mistresses when it comes to deals. I'm pretty sure one of them stated that if she were to have a child, that you would belong to her.
No, to be good or bad depending on intention.
You would basically be the hand of a Yaga and their bidding. No freedoms of your own accord. Every beck and will.
Essentially, like what had become of someone in my adventuring party for a while before he finally found freedom, so to speak.
Huh.
Yeah.
She looks up at the tree and she stands up and she reaches up to one of the low branches and you see her put a holy symbol up there. And you just feel it in the pit of your stomach as you look at your holy symbol added to the tree.
Oh boy. You know what? I am going to create Osling's holy symbol and place it here as well.
She just smiles at this and she's like, I am surprised at the fact that you are both gods. That was not part of the deal.
It was not of my intention to become such. I'm still very much so learning and doing what I feel is right and balanced.
Well,
I
who
just
am I
want-
to judge? You are a divine being, and I am but a witch that follows the great divine.
The only thing I wish for anyone, no matter if they fly, walk, crawl, teleport, no matter what form they come in, I'd want people to be happy. Just be able to be their own unique selves and just be able to exist peacefully. Whether or
Peace.
not that'll come at the price of some terrible tragedies, that's yet to be seen. But I can only hope that there can be some steps taken to avoid such things. Or at least minimize the frequency.
Peace is in short quantity. War is essentially an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah. Wars everywhere in all manner of planes of existence.
Well, if you ever want to visit me again, I'm only permitted to travel within the connecting.
I will definitely reach out to you again to speak again.
Oh, I absolutely do love, yes.
Maybe next time my sister can join me.
That'd be wonderful. I'm sure she's a ray of sunshine.
In her own manner of way, she has been through quite a great deal, which reflects. But she is a kind and respectful being that I have no doubt that you would love.
And she reaches in a pack, and after you've been spending the day with her essentially under the tree, and she reaches in her side pack and she takes something out that's wrapped in essentially a nature-made type of cloth, and she holds it out to you, and you realize from your travels the significance of a Yaga specifically providing a gift to you.
I will very respectfully and very gently take the gifted item.
Treat it well, and it will treat you well.
I most definitely will, and thank you so much.
You're welcome. And she just whistles, and you see the tree uproot itself with these long tendril roots. And she motions for it, and her and the tree start walking off into the forest.
I love that.
And you just see the soil settle, and the field goes back to being covered in flowers like it was never there. You can see little wisps of divine light just starting to fade out where the tree was.
I love that. After taking some time to enjoy the moment that I had there, I'll make my way back.
Okay. Back over to Mongo.
Damn it, damn it, damn it.
The dormouse looks at you. If you damn it enough, eventually it dies.
Very true.
Awesome.
All right, Fangface. Sorry,
Stabbing
Fangless.
Stabbing it works really well too. You keep stabbing it until there's nothing but mush left.
Fireworks, too.
Looks at you very confused, not knowing what a firework is.
And just kind of produce a little flame.
She lights some sort of cigarette or cigar on the flame and starts puffing at it.
Does the smell remind me of cayenne?
No, this is far more diabolical, and you're like, oh, I
Oh.
should breathe that.
In fact, you will
in
see.
fact, because of your alchemy background, you sent a little bit of arsenic in there.
A little bit of what?
Arsenic.
Oh God. Slowly backing up. I believe one of my brothers, the mouse folk, Nikolai, he and I seem to subscribe to the concept of give a person fire, you keep them warm for a day. Set them on fire, you keep them warm for the rest of their lives.
The dormouse looked over at you. I remember one time that we gave a card, a substance, and I was hungry and I bit it. And I bit it again because I was hungry. And it began to enjoy. Well, it joined in and started eating itself. That unnerves even you, Angela.
Hmm. I don't think that's normal, friend.
Or it's very normal for them in this realm. I'm not sure which, and I'm not gonna ask. Let's see if Cayenne's busy.
Oh,
Trying to find Cayenne.
do you really want her?
Got a couple of questions, thanks to this one.
The dormouse just kind of lets out this big puff of smoke. And Cayenne, you're walking along just enjoying the forest, and suddenly the ground just opens up underneath you, and you're just falling into this pit. And as you fall, You realize you're going up, and you see a hole open, and suddenly underneath you, Mongo, Cayenne comes flying out and hits you and sends you both in the air, and you both land on the ground. There she is!
Ow.
And Cayenne is laying on top of you, Mongo.
Ow. Probably just see little paws going. Trying to wiggle out from under the Cayenne.
Why? Why?
The Dormouse.
Hi.
The Dormouse looks over. He requested you, and I fulfilled the request.
Hi. I'm staring at Mongo.
Yeah, are you still on top of Mongo?
I would have moved off by now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, get up, dust myself off. It's like, okay, I thought we were gonna go find you, not have you thrown in a general direction.
That was terrifying.
You want me to throw her?
No, no, no,
No.
no throwing.
Okay. And Cayenne, you smelled a bit of arsenic coming from whatever the Dormouse is smoking.
And why? Again. Why?
You want some?
Considering one of the substances that I smell in what you are smoking is toxic to me, I will have to politely decline.
Politely but vehemently.
She offers it to you, Angela.
No, thank you, friend. I'm gonna have to say no on this one.
And she wanders off, kind of getting lost a little bit.
I just knocked over.
Do a perception, Cayenne. Mongo, you can do it too.
I will take that 22.
19.
You watch the Dormouse as she walks off, and you can see the leaves changing ever so lightly, becoming more vibrant. And you realize that there is something possibly more to the reason why she is partaking in such weird and extreme concoctions.
Cayenne, this place is very odd.
Yeah. Okay, now why am I here again?
Oh, right. Fangless here says that I was able to do a thing that I don't think I'm able to actually do. And from, oh God, I really don't know much about the warlocks. That's what you're called, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. But from my understanding is that pretty much everything that they can do is because some deity said, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Essentially, yes. But it's not just deities. It's powerful beings too. Because from what I have read and what has been explained, warlocks are essentially individuals who make pacts with super powerful entities that can be like a deity like Osling, for example, or that could be a really powerful fae, that could be
It could also be Lumion.
Could also
Or
be a
Lumion.
stealth, right?
Could also be a what?
Yourself?
Yes.
Yeah, but based off of who's providing that little extra juice, there'd be something there to kind of trace back, right?
There would
'Cause
be
when the
some
person-
sort. There would be some sort of sign, whether it be some sort of worn artifact or some sort of change in their appearance, even a personality trait, or even altered memories. Even some things kept to where they're not allowed to be spoken about.
Cayenne,
Secrecy, essentially.
you can do a religion on him since you're divine, or your divine sense.
Yeah, but somebody actually has to make the agreement with the individual who can do the thing. And I don't remember making agreements like that.
Religion was a 13. by
You
the way.
go, you take a step forward, and she puts her hand directly on your forehead, Mongo. And you're expecting scritches, but she just holds her hand there, and you don't feel any sort of act that he's made. But you do raise an eyebrow, and it seems that his warlockness is coming directly from his inherent munchkin magical nature.
I think what Cayenne's gonna do is she's just gonna smile really big. Oh, honey. No.
Is that the bad smile?
It's not a bad smile. But this is literally Cayenne saying, "Oh, honey, no. You just have some natural talent. It's so. From what I'm detecting, it doesn't seem as if your abilities are coming from any kind of pact with anyone. The abilities that you have are innate based on your bloodline, essentially.
Okay, so did I get that from Maggie or Jewel?
You you get your abilities from being a Munchkin Tabaxi, hun. Munchkin Philifault.
It's okay.
I keep my brain default.
Beep boop default. Oh no.
My brain to default mode. It did a hard factory reset.
404 knowledge not found.
No. Yeah. But no, your abilities don't come from making a pact with anyone. It comes from being a Munchkin Bielefault.
Oh, great. So it's that void thing that Lumion was talking about.
You have abilities that are unique to you. It's just gonna take some time to figure out the extent of your abilities. And it's not like we don't have a way to where we can travel and you can at least test things in a safer environment, at least in a controlled setting.
Oh, I know. Just more questions, another thing to research.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
You sound somewhat
Research
disappointed.
Research does typically end up leading you down some interesting, sometimes even fun adventures. Full side quests, essentially.
Mongo unrails the scroll that he has on his list of shit to research that is as long as him and adds that to the bottom of the list.
The never-ending scroll.
Yep.
Angelo, you're standing there like this moth lands on you that almost looks like a beautiful monarch butterfly made of leaves. And you look over at Cayenne and you see another one land on him. And another one land on him. And as you reach up to, I guess, touch one, Angelo, I'm assuming you would, right?
Out of curiosity, yes.
You see the mouth of it open, Cayenne, as you're perceptive to nature. And it almost looks like a lamprey as it bites down on his finger, and you instantly feel the sharp needle sink into your finger, Angelo.
Ow!
And then you feel
First of all,
and then you feel one on the back of your neck bite down too.
okay.
Juicy
No.
And then you see him more of them start gathering, flocking towards him as they are acting like piranhas with blood in the air.
I am emitting a sickening radiance, targeting these things specifically as I'm being attacked.
So little tiny, beautiful butterfly piranhas.
They eat like lampreys.
God damn. What is wrong with you?
I don't know, but
Hey, Fangless, you okay?
that
I
is.
mean, what's eating you, bud?
That's radiant damage to anything that's attacking me.
You just see him start falling to the ground dead, kind of in droves.
Oh, I'm definitely going away and making sure that I'm not in the blast radius in between him and Cayenne, because he's just now killing nature.
What in the hell are those things?
I think Cayenne is going to look to see if she sees any more in the area.
Eventually, he thins them out, and there's no more in the area, but there are plenty dead around him.
I'm definitely going to investigate one because from how they acted toward him, they weren't friendly.
You pick one up and you look it in your palm. You can do a nature on it.
What is that thing?
That's a 9.
A 9?
Is this one still alive?
No, you're poking it a little bit, and you like grab one of its legs, and the tip of its foot is almost like a cat's claw that's razor sharp, and it gets caught on your finger.
God damn.
And you're like, the fuck are these things?
I'm gonna keep investigating it to try to figure out what kind of fey critter this is.
Yeah, you can take your time and do a nature on it. Nikolai, over to you.
Well, so feel pretty good about having copied the spell for Mongo. I will put it away, and I will just kind of just investigate this place a little bit.
Do an investigation, or you can use an identify.
Good. I'll start with just investigation first.
All right.
Probably a little bit safer.
Taking time would add 10, yeah?
10, 20, how long you want to take on it? Every 10 minutes, that's
yeah, that's actually a good question. About how long have I been in here?
You don't know.
Okay. That's a whole, like, 12.
12? You can take as long as you want, Cayenne.
It's gonna take 10 minutes, so that would, with plus 10, that would be 30.
Jesus. Was that a natural 20?
I got a modified 20.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Hell yeah.
You go over to the tea table and move some of the teacups aside. Mongo, do you follow over as well?
Might as well.
You start to examine this thing as you look at it, Cayenne, and it's a carnivorous type of moth, and it's attracted to essentially perspiration and sweat, kind of like how a
Oh
mosquito
God,
is.
it's like sweat bees. Oh.
And you look
Oh
over,
my God.
you pull out like a needle and you start to examine like the little mouthpiece it has that's like a lamprey, and kind of see some excretion come from it. And you go over to Angelo, and Angelo, you're standing there, and you can start to see the greenness spreading on him from the toxin that it has. And you reach out, and you kind of squeeze the area, and you can see pus coming out of the 9 bite impalement marks.
Ew.
Ugh.
And you notice that you instantly realize, Cayenne, that if you don't help him, he's going to get sick very quickly, weak, and pass away.
Lovely. Yeah, so these definitely were not friends.
No, I would assume not. What the hell are they?
They are carnivorous moths.
And you're dying.
Are toxic. And
Not even a
time
day
for
old and
some
you're dying.
medicine.
How are you responding to this, Mongo?
Like, how toxic?
How toxic would I have known them to be?
If you don't help Angelo, he'll be dead within 12 hours. Just from the
Oh.
2 bites he's
Oh.
gotten.
So there's that.
Well,
Okay.
Time for the medicine.
right then. I suppose it's good to say I no longer have my greater restoration spell. I can't do shit here.
You can do a nature and formulate a anti-vet toxin between you and Mongo.
That's. I think I'll do that with a natural 20.
You'll
Nice.
need
Yeah,
to get
All right, I was going to offer to help.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you,
I was going to take you up on your help, but I'd already rolled.
you'll have to get into his essentially his alchemist kit to get some supplies.
Consider it done.
And you guys begin working on that neurotoxin. Angela, as you're standing there, you're starting to sweat profusely, and you're starting to just like a little bit of labored breathing. You're like, oh no.
It's just nerves. You'll be okay.
Fun.
I don't have the boss of vagal reaction yet, which that shit sucks.
Nikolai, you look around the cell or the padded room, and it just seems like a padded room for the most part for you. You do see some blood splatters.
Blood splatters?
Long, dried blood stains, I should say.
No marks or anything? I'm not seeing anything that looks like a mark or anything?
You look around a little bit closely, and you do see something, and you're like, oh, those could be scratch marks.
Alrighty. Interesting. No, that doesn't work. Alrighty.
I will go to the door, I guess, at this point. And I will attempt to open it, but not step through.
Using the key, it swings wide open, and you look out, and it's just a black abyss, and you can roll in. You're like the room is floating in a black abyss.
Huh. Well. Stick my hand out to see what it feels like.
It feels like you're putting your hand out into an abyss with nothing there.
So no change in temperature, or is it colder?
It's the same.
Huh. Yeah, if I ever get out of here, I need to talk to little mouse girl and tell her instructions would be nice. Huh. Okay. Close the door. Sit back down and contemplate the situation I'm in.
You and intelligence.
Just intelligence?
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, do tinkering. Okay.
So it's going to be a 22.
As you sit there for a moment contemplating, you look around, and you go around and you start checking the various padded panels, and you move one out of the way and you see another keyhole.
Huh.
And then you look back at it after you look at the key, and you see dozens of keyholes that are exactly the same.
Oh my god, Mouse. Nikolai is going to have words. All right. Sure. Try the key in one of the holes he just found. Keyholes he just found.
As you put the key in, you hear what sounds like loud bells coming from beyond the door behind you. And you look over your shoulder and you can see smoke starting to come into the actual cell.
Fuck. What the hell? Like, does it have any odor to it?
It smells like something is on fire.
It smells like something's on fire. Okay, turn the key in that same hole back the other way.
It still persists.
Huh. Okay. Great. Lovely. All right. Well, let's just try another one. It's the worst that could happen.
You put another one in, and it doesn't do anything, and you can start to feel warmth behind you.
Warmth behind me?
Yeah.
Look behind me?
You can see a few embers starting to dance with beyond the actual slit.
Oh. Fucking great. Wonderful. All right. Shit. Okay. Well, shit. Okay. Open the door. Well, shit. Would Nikolai know this to feel the door to see if it's hot? I mean, there's flames there. Yeah, I guess see if there's like, if there's anything beyond the door now that I see flames dancing in there. Like, is there a space now?
The fire is obscuring your vision.
Shit.
And you can feel like you're standing next to a roaring fireplace.
Great. All right. Yeah, I knew I was gonna die.
And you realize why Alice says this place is forbidden to send people.
Yeah. Great. Nikolai's gonna be dead. Wonderful. Absolutely fucking wonderful. Okay. I had no spells prepared for, like, trapped in an abyss.
I don't think anybody is.
Do you go back to
I
the
don't think-
mini
Yeah, it's just see what happens with other keyholes.
high or low?
I'll try high.
Okay. You start putting them in and turning them and picking it out. Nothing happens for you. You can hear the wall behind you just start to the metal creaking from the heat pressure, and you can see it starting to superheat as the padding on that wall just bursts into flames.
Alrighty.
The
Getting-
entire room filling with smoke.
Getting into the reach of Magicka. Yep.
And
Yeah,
you,
there's a little level of protection there.
and you do every single key hole, and you get to the last one and turn it, and you just hear air whistling by as you're falling through the canopy of the trees.
Okay. Well, thankfully, the reach of Magicka has Featherfall on it, so hopefully it won't shatter.
And you land back in the camp, and as you climb out of the Reach-a-Majig, as I think you would, you stumble a bit. You can see the scorched flames on the Reach-a-Majig and the ash and such on it as well. You can feel heat coming from it from the actual heat of where you were at.
Do we have a name for the dormouse, or just dormouse?
Dormouse. Cayenne and Mongo. It takes you a bit of time. You have to basically use needles and a bunch of these things to extract their neurotoxin and then use a few other things. Ironically enough, another one that you use that helps make the anti-venom essentially is the secretions of a pufferfish. And honey.
Alrighty.
Interesting.
But you do manage to make a neurotoxin, and you would have to inject it directly into the bites for it to take effect. With a very thick, round, hypodermic needle that can pass essentially the thickness of honey through
Oh, that's not small.
it.
Okay, Kyan, I have an idea. I'm gonna get him to look another direction. You jab him.
You truly think that I'm afraid of a needle?
And you see the size of the needle.
All right, let's be honest. Let's be honest here. It's probably not the most terrifying thing he's seen,
You've
but
never
it's
seen
probably
You've never seen
it's
a
probably
needle that big.
Think
Okay.
about it. An epidural needle going in to every single bite that you have. Or
That's,
better yet, the needles used for spinal taps.
Okay, that looks kind of painful. Not
I
the
would think
worst.
I would actually
But,
think it would be the needles that they use to put in the microchips.
Those are thick, but they're not as long.
Yeah.
Okay,
I see Manny drinking his green in the background from here.
you're gonna go ahead and take out his dagger and bite down on the handle.
And Cayenne
Do what
is-
you gotta do.
I bet Cayenne takes a little bit of pleasure in stabbing him. A little bit of revenge pleasure
Do
For
what
being-
you must.
for being a dick.
So Nikolai's
Wait,
hollering
I've
for
got
the
an idea.
dormouse.
Wait right here. Save
I
one or
shall
two.
wait.
Hey, Biddy.
Biddy comes over. Rah!
Very fierce. Hey, I've got an idea. Fengless over here kind of needs a bit of help. He got bit by a few things that are kind of poisoning him and gonna kill him. Kyan and I knocked together something that will fix him. But there's a bit of a syringe, and it's not gonna feel real good for him. We figure you might want to.
Biddy holds out their little itty bitty hands for the syringe.
Oh, this surely isn't gonna go wrong.
Revenge for the children.
You can just pick up Biddy, Cayenne, and hold them up to the bite mark.
Screw it, I'll do this.
Let's see. Oh, poor Angelo. Biddy swings the needle forward, and Mare is instantly gonna know what this is. It is like a day one phlebotomist stabbing him in the neck. Your face is instantly just splattered with Angelo blood, Cayenne.
Ew.
And you realize Biddy's not so good at this.
I will instruct Biddy on how to do this properly.
They follow your instructions for the next bite, but when they pull it out, the tip of the needle catches the skin and you hear it tear a little bit.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
What is with the torture here? Jeez.
And Biddy looks over at you, kind of, am I doing well?
I will say, try it. You are doing good, but try it this way.
Your fallen children would be proud.
The next one goes completely smooth.
Biting down on that dagger handle.
And you finish up with Angelo and you smell smoke, Mongo.
Oh God, what's the Dormouse knocked together this time?
And you look over and you walk up towards the smoke and you realize it's Nikolai as he's standing there outside of the reach of the jig.
Yelling Dormouse.
Nikolai?
Where's
When
the
did you take
Dormouse?
Smoking?
I think she tried to kill me.
You think everyone tries to kill you?
She locked me in a room that set me on fire.
I'm sorry, what?
A room floating in the middle of nowhere. Bunch of keyholes that set me on fire.
You hear
Keyhole
this,
set you on fire.
No, the room set me on fire.
You hear this, Cayenne and Angelo.
I just wanted a quiet place, not a death trap. So I'm a little upset. I want her to explain.
Is trying to motivate you, perhaps?
Motivate me to die?
Well, motivate you, really light a fire under you?
Ha, ha, ha.
Cayenne doesn't know what to say.
Where is she? You know?
Mixing some sort of questionable beverage.
Well,
Yeah, you guys look around, you don't see the Dormouse anywhere.
I will proceed to the. Well, I guess we kind of are at the tea table, right?
Yep.
Don't see her here. Okay. Any of the other crew of Alice's crew around?
The white rabbit is gone. You do see you do see the hare sitting there.
Okay. I'll approach the hare and ask him if he knows where the dormouse has gone to.
Looks over at you. I suppose, since we're still here, the dormouse is about, but the whereabouts of the dormouse are the dormouse's whereabouts.
So no. Do you know how to request her presence?
Why would one request one's presence when the Hatter is not present to present tea? It doesn't make any sense.
So can only the Hatter present tea?
Ah, preposterous if anyone else but Alice decides to present tea.
Okay. Alrighty. Here's your scroll, Mongo.
Oh, thank you. I'll
Yeah.
start looking it over.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not burnt.
It's got some soot on it, but it's legible.
Do I still have the key she gave me?
It's gone.
Ah, okay. Okay. Is there any place where I've typically seen her hang out?
Usually right here at the table.
Does she like go to a particular seat?
Doesn't seem like it.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, I will pay attention for the next tea time.
What are you doing, Cayenne?
Cayenne was busy working on the neurotoxin. Is that all finished up with his fights with Biddy
Yeah.
and Angelo? Honestly, Cayenne's just taking it easy. She's got nothing planned until everyone gets ready to go back to normalcy.
You do know that a possible side effect of Angelo's will be explosive southern evacuation.
She will warn him of that.
And you have no idea what this means, Angelo. Like, what?
You're gonna hit yourself.
Mongo, I suppose you're working on scrolling down that scroll?
Yeah.
Okay. So time passes, and eventually you see the familiar wispy smoke come back into the actual camp as the Cheshire jumps onto the table, walking up along the table, knocking over teacups and plates and other things. And Alice walks in behind the Cheshire as well. And she sets a cage down on the table, and it's a small little, like, mouse-sized cage. And she's like, since you're a guest here, you get to vote. And you hear the Hatter, they get to vote. Why do they get to vote? Alice is like, because I said so, the guests get to vote.
Vote on what exactly, Alice?
She walks away from the cage, and you guys can go and examine what's in the cage.
Yeah, let's go.
Take a look.
Pay attention to what our host is talking about.
And, Nikolai, you recognize it instantly. It's the fairy that was enslaved by Pan.
Oh.
You can see that she's covered in dozens of iron burns, and her wings have been removed, and you can see that her legs are bent at unusual angles.
Oof.
Essentially, he was a child playing with a bug. And she's huddled in the far back side of the cage away from you guys.
I was going to ask if you could help us rescue her. After I got done with my little chore that I was doing for Mungo.
And Cayenne is now livid. And Alice sits at the head of the table, just watching you guys to see what you're going to do.
But what exactly are you asking for a vote for, Alice?
It's not for me to decide what the vote is for. It is simply for you guys to vote and decide.
Well,
Decide what?
decide what?
That's for you to figure out.
Cayenne is not saying a word, and she's getting Mary, the fairy, out. Considering Cayenne knows her name.
Well,
Since no one else will speak up or do anything.
are you guys hearing me? I said I was looking to ask if we could go rescue her. So yeah, like the vote is
As Cayenne is opening the cage and undoing it,
yeah.
saying it is one thing, doing is another.
You put your hand in, and she backs away from it, terrified, and tears streaming down her face in fear.
I'm not going to hurt you or force you out of there. I saw what he did. You are free to leave out of this on your own volition. No one here is going to touch you or hurt you. He cannot touch you anymore.
And she looks up at
Do
you.
we-
She's like, he's going to come back, and
No,
I'm
he
going
won't.
to pay the price.
No.
They'll have to go through all of us again. We've now defeated him, what, 3 times?
What are you doing, Mongo?
Can we vote to have her trauma undone?
Her body is in ruins. She's nowhere near what she was before. She's littered with scars, broken, healed bones.
It would take mighty powerful magic to restore that.
And your skin crawls a little bit, Cayenne, as you can see where a bit of Smiley came out in pen, and he used her as a marionette, probably with her limbs broken.
And that's too familiar.
Yeah.
Cayenne, go ahead and roll your divine ability.
I'm thinking, don't we have 1 potion of restoration?
Don't even know what that roll is, because all I have is deity logic or druid logic.
Here, I will roll that one since it's not a specific skill. Oh, hey, there you go. Cayenne, you can reach back into her. You can offer your hand to her.
I will do that. Depending on her height, it would be...
She's like,
I would
grabbing.
offer a finger. Offer my pinky finger.
As you do that, you guys watch Cayenne as you can see, possibly what I am surmising is a couple of tears in your eyes starting to well up as sympathy and anger at this situation that you're now faced with.
I think Cayenne looks like she's got Audrey veins on her face.
And you reach in, and she reaches out and touches your finger, and you feel almost like a static electricity spark, and you immediately panic at first as you do that because you think you just hurt her. And you guys watch as Cayenne's, you see that wisp of divine energy flow from you, Cayenne, and wrap around her, and you can see as her body is engulfed in your divine light, the limbs correcting themselves, the wounds healing, and her body is restored back to its proper state. And you take 1 point of exhaustion as you restore her.
I will gladly accept that.
And you guys look at the miracle that Cayenne just performed as she grabs the table as the exhaustion hits her instantly.
I think it is a no chance of saying please excuse me as projectile vomit.
And let's see. It's gonna come down to 2. Let's see. Mongo, Cayenne instantly projectile vomits all over your feet paws.
Ew.
And we prestidigitate the god Barf.
The god vomit.
I'm sorry, Mongo. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that
Angelo,
might be a
start with
valuable.
my- I'll start with
Okay,
me
good.
and work my way up to as soon as it comes out of her mouth, it is going away.
I need to make you some some feetsy wraps of
Precipitation.
permaclean.
Permaclean. Angelo, you've never seen a miracle like that performed.
I'm guessing you
That's
rolled a 20?
impressive.
Nikolai, you're just standing there like,
That's awesome.
That's very impressive, Cayenne. Truly, you're a saint.
I'm very sleepy now.
and the fairy.
See if I
she's-
can't whip her up something to kind of help settle the stomach.
The fairy steps out and she gives you a large curtsy bow, Cayenne. Actually lowering her gaze, and you know that fairies don't do that.
I'm just gonna try to reassure her to tell her she doesn't have to do that.
You've blessed me this day and restored me.
I would do that for anyone. You didn't deserve what happened to you. We both suffered at the hand of the same person.
I saw so many others die at his hands.
And we are here to make sure that that never happens again, because that shouldn't have happened to begin with. What you went through is nothing short of a horror movie. Just some kind of just terrible, just unending nightmare. It was a vile being.
He
I'm
took
glad
out the
that
frustrations that he had with his boys on fairies, and he consumed our essence. We withered away, unable to recover, and eventually we were no longer Fae, so to speak. She goes over and hugs you, Nikolai.
Sorry we couldn't do anything to get you out of there right away.
Later is better than never.
It was going to be later, like today.
Mm-hmm.
Alice looks over and she's like, speaking of the boys, I've been rather busy today. And she just kind of smiles, and you guys could probably surmise what the worst of what she might have done based off what she is.
Oh boy.
And she's like, I'm not the Red Queen. I took them to Hook. He has agreed to take them in as his own kin,
Good.
as each of them has declared that they were an orphan before falling prey to he shall not be named on my tongue.
Alice, as part of the request that I was going to make of you and your crew to help us go rescue or find Mary here, was also going to help or find out if you could help us find gold before our last day spending with that
evil being, Gold came up missing. And I read in his book that he was writing that he was worried about growing up. So I don't know if that creature harmed him or if Gold ran away.
You hear Hatter speak up. Oh, that's his name. Well, we also turned him over to the good captain. However, he is rather faceless now. Peeled away like the skin of a banana. Nothing we can do to restore that.
Well, okay. That's disturbing. I presume his enslaver did that to him?
Alice said, correct. Also took his hands as well, so he could never hold a sword again.
Perhaps there is something that can be done, but it would be entirely upon whether or not the captain wishes to do so. I left within the captain's care a rather useful little magical trinket. Something very powerful, actually. Could potentially restore him, but...
Alice looks over. Your trinkets don't mean anything for the will of the soul, and how broken it is.
Maybe not that, but it would possibly restore his body.
So, I assume each of you has business to attend to for the remainder of the night. I recommend not being outside, as the moon and its accompanying friends can be rather unpleasant.
So I've seen. Rather terrifying bunch.
How would the moons be unpleasant?
She looks over to Hatter, and Hatter's like, according to the myths and legends of the people of this land, the strangeness extends to those of the moons. That they all observe different beings and things stuck out at night. Superstitions abound in the night. State simply that if they find you unpleasing, and they all find it unpleasing, then naughty things will happen to those stranded in the night. However, they're bemused and rather amused at the things that you do, then pleasantries will happen in the night.
Has anybody ever tested these superstitions and theories?
I was like, I'd rather not.
I did see faces on the moons when I saw them the other day.
How disturbed is Mongo right now?
This is fucking weird.
Cayenne, you can do a wisdom to see if you know anything about this. You have advantage because it's Failure.
I think Cayenne is just interested in the story because it sounds cool. With advantage. With advantage is a 10.
Jeez.
You're like, huh, that's cool.
Any word on what the moons might find as amusing?
Alice looks over. I would surmise those moons are more insane than the Red Queen.
Perhaps they watch and guide. I've heard many stories of the gods of the moons. They're protectors and guidance. In fact, there's this one lady I met who did worship the moons. I still have a copy of her trinket.
So, now that you mention craziness in the moon, I heard that words like lunacy and lunatic were derived from Luna, which has to do with the moon.
That is true.
I wonder if the moon does actually influence varying states of, I guess, insanity.
It's possible, but that all comes down to the god of moons, which are the moons are. I don't understand gods. The moons are apparently servants of the god of moons, or the night, or whatever. She just kind of shrugs it and stands up and gets inside.
Is
Yeah,
there a-
Cayenne's definitely gonna have to take her to the city at some point and have her have some proper introductions with people.
Is there view to the sky in this camp?
Barely.
Barely. Is the camp relatively safe otherwise?
You would assume so. You haven't been attacked at the camp except for Pan.
By the way, Alice, where's our friend the Dormouse? I have
Alice
questions
wakes up
for her. Well, I will attempt to follow after to try to get her attention to ask that question.
and She pauses at the door as you do, and she's like, I'm sure she's about carrying out her duties. She likes to go for long walks in the forest, and I don't recommend following after her, as her machinations, without proper safety, you will be forever lost.
Would probably agree. Do you know why she sent me to such an unsafe place without any instructions on how to get out?
She looks at you. You can see that seriousness return on her face. More
Did
than
I
she
offend
was.
her or something? Have I offended you?
Where did she send you? Describe it to me, Mouse.
It's this room with padding and a single door. I just wanted a
She
place-
slams the door in your face.
Shit.
The Cheshire sits on the table and says, don't recommend that.
Can you maybe tell me what's going on now?
You were
Mr.
sent
Cheshire?
to a forbidden place. The Dormouse has angered Alice.
Okay. I don't wish any harm upon the Dormouse. Can we help make sure this doesn't happen?
Your wishes mean nothing here, little mouse. Simply the will of
Oh.
Alice does.
The player is asking, does everyone else hear boss music from their respective positions?
Oh no, I'm in danger.
Great. Okay, do you have Alice's ear to, express perhaps, like, attempts to dissuade her from doing harmful things?
You see the Cheshire fade away, and you see the mouth simply say, I might be mad, but I'm not stupid.
Oh, fuck.
Before you go fucking again.
Shit. Great. Is the Hatter still about?
He's sitting there, and he's just this massive smile on his face.
Hey, Hatter, I got a question for you, sir.
Ah, do you want pine or oak?
Either. When you went to go rescue Amy, did you happen to maybe go through the items at the evil Archphase camp?
Do I look like riffraff that would simply pillage? I think not. That's beneath me. I am a hatter.
I did not mean to imply any such thing, only that
Even an enemy, I will respect the dead. And stealing from the dead is cruel.
but items, there's a book there that I think is important for us to have.
Then you can go retrieve it yourself and find the path there yourself, little mouse.
would you be willing to tell me about how to get back from here?
Hatter looks around. Perhaps it's that way. Maybe it's that way. I could be mistaken. It could also be that. I'm not entirely sure. It's one of those directions.
How important do you believe it to be there, Nikolai?
Important enough that I wish to come to a solution. I want to know more about who Gold is so that I could determine how I could help him. And he wrote in a book about his experiences, which I think can help.
Cayenne, if you want to, you could go try to talk to Alice and calm her down from one god to another.
I will. I will do my absolute best.
You head over to where Nikolai is, and you just push the door open gently as there's no locks. And
Before I go in, can I find someone who would have something that Alice likes to partake in first to take to her?
yeah, Hatter would actually know.
Good luck getting
I
answers
will-
from him.
I will check with Hatter to see if there's like any sweets or any kind of snacks that Alice likes that I can take in with me.
He fishes around in his pocket and he brings something out and he picks off all the lint from it. And he holds it out to you, and you can see that you can actually see the size of the salt crystals on the licorice.
Oh my god.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure she'll enjoy this.
I wish you the best of luck.
I thank you very much.
As you head
And
off.
yep, my crazy self is going to try to calm a mad goddess.
And you push the door open gently, and you already know why there's no locks on any of the doors. And you head inside, and her mushroom is vastly different than the one you're in. You're immediately standing on a checkered floor, like a giant checkerboard. And you quickly look around, and you see there's exactly that many tiles here to play chess. And there's double stairways that spiral up, and you look up at the spiral, and you realize you're inside of the castle piece. And you start going up along it, and you look over, and where there would be like a chandelier in the middle, you can see floating checkerboard pieces and croquet balls and that sort of such. I ain't in Kansas anymore.
Yep.
And as you go higher, instead of getting lighter from the moonlight outside, it gets darker. And eventually you get to the top, and you look at the impossible situation when you get to the top where the door goes off into a direction, but standing outside, a hallway can't go that far at all. And as you start walking down the hallway, you can hear things in the various rooms along it. Conversations that are just low and muffled to the point where you can't hear them. You come to double doors at the end of the hall, and you pause for a moment at the doors, and do an intelligence roll.
Look back over at Mongo. How long do we wait before we go in after her?
That's 15.
You want to chase after the god.
She's our sister.
Who's chasing after the goddess of madness?
She's our sister.
Cayenne, you pause as you go to reach out to the double doors, and you take a step back and you walk down the opposite way of the hallway, and you look over the railing down into the darkness and the floating pieces. And instinctively, you step onto the rail, and you step off it, and you feel your foot land on solid platform, realizing that that pathway behind you was a test that Alice isn't that vain to have a double set door and be at like the lap of luxury. And as you start walking, the giant checkerboard pieces come under your foot and form a path leading to another door that looks kind of like a retrofitted asylum door.
I will push it very gently.
You push the door open and you see essentially like the most barren room you can imagine. The floorboards are in utter disarray, like they've never been upkept, like there's been leaks in here constantly. The window looking outside is covered in 10 kinds of different dirt. You can see that the basin it's not very well kept in this room, and you can see Alice standing by the actual window, and she kind of looks over her shoulder, and she's like, yes?
I've come to bring you a snack.
You can do a perception for me if you want.
I have a
Thank
question
you.
for you, Gio, when you have a moment.
Go for it.
So when we first, when Nikolai and Cayenne worked together to make the new homunculus, and finding out that it did have its own personality, he did give it permission to hang out with Cayenne as it felt the desire to do so. Do I know where the mantis is?
It is actually with Cayenne.
All right. I will look through and listen through its ears and eyes.
Cayenne, as you look over and you look at Alice, you step into the room and you can feel the temperature change, getting colder. And you just feel like in the pit of your stomach, you can see all the crisscross marks along her back where they whipped her. You can see stab marks where they tried to do essentially spinal taps on her. And you can see where they had the noose around her neck, and she turns around and you can see where they basically tried to do a living autopsy on her as well. And she walks towards you and she's like, a snack.
Yeah.
Your brother tests the nerve.
That is... I'm going to be very brutally honest. That is kind of his MO as my brother.
Then he'll never be a proper gentleman. However, Pongo seems to be somewhat of a gentleman.
So while Nikolai does have his faults and can test a nerve, he is actually very much so a gentleman where it counts. He's very cordial and professional and knows the right time and place. He's still rusty on some social conventions. There's some of the terminology and some of the slang that he doesn't quite understand. And there's some things that some individuals do that don't make sense to him in his own way of understanding versus ours. He's very technical.
Nikolai, as you're listening to this, you suddenly are disoriented as the mantis goes spiraling out of control. And you see, you, Cayenne, saw the Cheshire apparate and smack it off your shoulder, sending it spiraling out of the room. And you see the Cheshire batting around the sentient mantis fighting for its life against the Cheshire cat.
All I see is just like just legs, like. Ugh.
And you see the Cheshire starting to apparate and appear, becoming larger and more demonic in nature. The true nature of this thing, more terrifying than even that of a Displacer beast. And you realize it's going to kill the mantis.
No.
Okay, what can I do?
And Alice looks past you and she's like, no. And the Cheshire pauses and Luke turns around like, well, why?
Okay.
It's a spy. And she's like, know your place and take it outside. That one is not to kill. Yet. And suddenly your mantis is thrown out the door. Nikolai.
You okay, buddy?
It looks a little rough for wear, like a little terrified of what it just experienced of a target it couldn't fight against because it kept disappearing and reappearing.
I will use mending on it to make sure it's all patched up.
Alice looks back to you and she's like, now that we're in private.
So we're back. We're back in the room again.
You guys never left the room. The Cheshire did.
Nikolai truly didn't mean any harm. He truly wants to help you.
You've presented me with a crossroads of saying that what I know is truth and what little that I know is truth is a lie.
I am sure that there was a better way he could have worded that to where it would have made a lot more sense. Because, I'll be honest, it doesn't make much sense to my brain either.
Up until
But I know that
you showed up in my camp, I knew who I was and what I do. And then you make these allegations that I made. Huh, God.
It's truth, though. As fantastical as it sounds, as crazy as it is to believe, it is absolutely fact. From one to another, it is fact.
If you
It will
look
just-
upon me, would a god be marred with all of these marks of man?
Is there a way I can show her what she truly looks like?
There is a way, but you might need Mongo's help and the goggles.
Not looking through those goggles at her.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, I won't make him look through the goggles, but I try to convince her to look through them.
I will give you this. You can show her the scars that Smiley left you.
I will do that. So as you say, if you were truly a deity, would a normal being be able to leave marks on you? And just show the coiled mass of just thorns lining my left arm? Thankfully, this one's no longer an issue. At least for a while. Unless they decide they want to pop up again at random. And if they know what's good for them, they stay gone. There's a place you do need to visit at some point when you're ready. I do have a way to show you proof as to who you truly are. But I need to know that you're comfortable to view yourself as you truly are, and if you're ready for that. Because I don't want to overload you. Because him mentioning that you are a deity and it getting you this upset, especially seeing you as you are now with marks left by terrible people, I don't know if it would be the best idea to show you at this moment unless you were ready and said you were. So I'm going to leave it up to you to decide if you want to trust me and Mongo to show you
Your
who you are.
brother, Mongo, he wishes to instill some of his magic upon me and view into who I am.
It is not a painful procedure at all. It is essentially, we've used this method to look into memories linked to objects. I'll show her my dad's blanket, for example.
Oh,
For example, I was able to see how my father passed away and who caused him to pass away through this blanket. I was also able to see earlier memories tied to this blanket as well. This blanket was used to cover both me and my sister.
objects carry memories.
Yes,
Isn't that a
everything carries
strange
memories.
thing? I would have never
It can
considered that.
even a fingernail, an eyelash, a drop of blood, a tear.
Severed
You
hand.
can
We've
you
done that.
could depending on how well versed you were in this method, you could essentially see who that person was born of and the moment of their birth, and see different pieces of their life up until a certain point.
I've never heard of such things until you arrived here and you call me mad.
For sure.
There's a lot that you
Soft shoes.
do not
There.
There's a lot that you do not know about that we can teach you about, take our time teaching you about, find you books to read about, introduce you to people, dependable people, trustworthy people.
She goes over
But
and
that's
she
if you
looks
ever
at a book. And she turns the pages through it and she's like,
As we said when we arrived, we're always here to offer assistance however you need it. All you have to do is just ask us. That's our group's MO, is to help people.
so she looks over at you and she's like, do you know how long so far I've been at war with the Queen?
I don't.
Oh. Roughly 950,000 moons.
That's a lot of moons.
Cayenne, you think for a moment about that, and that pops in your head is over 2,000 years. That she's been out this single war.
That's a very long time.
I am very determined to kill him.
I think Cayenne's at a loss of what to say to that. I would definitely say that you are definitely determined to kill her if you've been at it this long.
She splits the piece of candy in half and offers you half.
I will suffer. I will suffer the shared candy.
There's a little bit of extra on there because it was in Hatter's pocket, and you're like, oh, thank God it's just contact. It's not full on.
But here's the thing: what would the contact be from?
Mercury, lithium, any other illicit drugs that he provides to the group. Basically, a trick-or-treat bag of illicit drugs.
Hallucinogens. Hallucinogens and psychedelics.
So, Mungo, you're able to prepare that spell. After a while, Cayenne, of sitting with Alice just in quiet, listening to the creaky and weird silence that she sits in all the time.
I
You're
would have
able to-
definitely taken the time to telling her about, like, the birds and everything.
She listens very quietly, occasionally asking a question here and there, but not much. More so just absorbing the information. But she eventually returns to the group with Cayenne. Yes, she is wearing clothes. And she looks over and she's like, Mouse? Nicholas?
Hello?
You and your brother may do your identification, but I hold no responsibility of what you find there.
Huh. Okay. Is the dormouse still with us?
She's about.
Okay. I don't think she meant any harm or disrespect. Please, if my request means anything, don't punish her for that mistake. I came out okay. I just wanted to find out why she did it.
Cayenne, after spending time with Alice, you know that she doesn't actually punish those in the broken mirror. She lets them learn from their own mistakes because she's been punished so much that she refuses to do it to others. Especially those that she's close to.
It's basically like Time Out, except you gotta do some non-lethal Squid Games.
Oh my god, you just gave me the most diabolical idea that the Red Queen actually does Squid Games mixed with the Hunger Games.
Squid Games meets Saw.
Love it.
Good luck.
Good luck. All right.
So you guys return to the library, and Alice sits in the middle of the floor, and the Cheshire sits on her seat and looks over. Like the ever-present gargoyle watching possible prey.
I have an idea. I don't know how well it'll work, though.
Alright, what's the idea?
Am I able to try to pull a seed out of my bag?
Yeah?
I want Cheshire to continue to watch, but I want to try to pull a creature that can give him, like, a massage.
Alright, let's see what you get. Alright, let's see what you get from the... Man, you haven't pulled from that bag in a while.
No, because Because I think it's like I can pull like 10 random seeds in a month. Or no, it's not a seed. It's the animals.
Yeah, you haven't pulled from that one in a while. Cayenne, you reach in there and you pull out a little piece of wood and you look at it real quick. And you don't know if you want to use it or not because it's in the shape of a mantis shrimp.
Oh, no.
It could be interesting.
Could be very bad, actually.
Yes. I'm not saying it couldn't be. It's just saying it could be interesting.
For one,
He's
I don't think that a mantis shrimp would have to stay in water. They wouldn't be able to survive outside.
Yeah, I
Not
think
for
they're
long, anyway.
I think they're permanently water bound.
Yeah, but they can easily break aquariums with their punch.
Yep.
And they also punch fish for fun. Just like some species of octopus do. Yeah, we're not gonna do Cheshire that way. I don't feel like getting an angry demonic kitty on my ass, thanks.
So,
The Hatter walks over to you, Cayenne, and holds something out to you, and he's like, "This is your responsibility." And motions to Alice, and you can look at what he's holding out to you.
I will look.
You can see that there are iron restraints that walk to the floor. Bind her wrist to the floor for your safety.
I'm gonna feel absolutely terrible doing this.
so Alice,
Nicholas?
I wish to place a spell upon you that could help you deal with any fear-based emotions that you may encounter while we do this.
She raises an eyebrow and she's like, "Nicholas, I don't feel fear."
I understand.
You might want to put that on yourself and your brother and whoever else is going to be involved in this ritual.
The difficulty with that is that I'm worried about any protections you may subconsciously apply against us while we do this. And
Oh, enough with the words and just get along with doing your ritual.
so, are you okay with me casting this spell on you?
No, I am not. I need to be of mind when you do this. Cayenne's sitting there just holding these shackles like, fuck.
Holding shackles, hands burning.
They're not iron.
You said they were iron.
I thought that, no, I didn't specify. No, if I did, they're not iron.
Yes, you did. You said they were. You said take these iron shackles and bind her wrist to protect
sorry,
yourself.
okay. They're very strong steel. There you go.
Okay. I just had to put that out there because it was said.
Well, thank you for the correction.
Perhaps
Diane
we
is
should
going
come up with a
to-
safe word.
What was that,
Diane
Tom?
is going to approach Alice. It's like, I am sorry I have to do this, but this is for Nikolai, Mongo, safety and for your own safety, because we do not know how you will react to this, and we don't want you to hurt yourself and or others. It is only temporary, it is not permanent.
Very well. Mongo, you can offer to take Cayenne with you so he gets to enjoy the trip too. And Angelo.
I don't think she's gonna like that, but okay. So two things. Should we come up with a safe word?
Safe
Just
word.
Cheshire looks over. Oh, a safe word, you say? Well, Mr. Bee Lion, how about, please, don't kill me. That sounds like a safe word enough.
that'll work for me. Good with everybody else.
I say the safe phrase is "let me live."
Okay. Alice, the only ones who are allowed to participate and see whatever it is that we're going to see are the ones that you allow. If you don't want certain ones of us to partake, we won't. It's your call.
I permit you, Nicholas, and Cayenne.
Understandable.
All right.
And I surmise that you guys start making the runes around her as she sits
Yep.
on her knees.
Spend all the time necessary to make this as perfect as possible.
Yep.
It's been several weeks since I've used my amulet. I think at this point it's probably a good idea to go ahead and use it.
Burn him
How
if you
long
got
has
him.
it been since we kind of started figuring out that we were gonna have to kill Smiley again?
A while?
At least a week.
I would say it's been a week because you're in the wilds.
Okay. Once we get pretty close to the last bit of preparation, there's something Mongo's gonna have to do to himself.
Go ahead, Mongo.
Currently he
privacy?
is transmute.
Sorry, you opened yourself up for that one.
You know what? I can't really argue with that point. Poor choice of words on my part. I'll accept that. Currently, Mongo is transmutation. Didn't know this is what we were going to be doing when we started the day, but since enough time has passed, and he has been able to switch awake, like to try to change over to chronomancy.
You can definitely do that.
Not sure how much that's gonna sting. But yeah, he'll switch over.
All right. And roll those arcanas.
Alrighty.
Cayenne, you can do nature.
Did you still need Arcana?
Not from you. That's for the two wizards. Nature
Okay.
for you.
Okay.
And
Well,
we're
two.
working together, so we are rolling with advantage. Okay, good.
Cayenne rolled hella high.
Nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say nature's a 26.
I'll keep my 19.
I'll use my Flaccid Genius to add a 4 to my 19. That'll be 23. Plus adding my amulet, that'd be a 33.
Okay.
You know what? Screw it. I'll add my heroic inspiration.
Throwing
What is
all
it?
the numbers at it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing identify on a god. Probably important. What was that heroic inspiration? It was what is heroic inspiration? It doesn't tell me what the number is.
Wow, the dice roller is lagging so bad.
Glad we have advantage. That helps out a bit. And
I won't
you know
use
what?
my heroic inspiration. I'll keep the 19 because it allows me to do a reroll and already got it. So 11 with all my bonuses isn't bad.
All right. So with your rolls, you kind of feel that elevator drop in your stomach, and then as you're standing there, you feel the air grow cold as these black tendrils actually come up around you from the circle and pull you down into it, almost like you're being pulled deep under abyssally dark water, the deep end. And as you try to catch your breath, you find yourself standing in this grassy open area. And the buildings, it looks almost Victorian in nature. Buildings you guys have never seen before from your time period. It's vastly strange to you. And you see a little girl running across the field, and she's running after another girl. And you see two people standing off towards a building, calling out to them. And you see the little girls run over in a direction and past the trees and up to them and start talking to them. Clearly, they're parents. And you realize that this is Alice when she was younger with her sister, that she had a sister.
Huh.
And it moves forward, and you see them in school, and it's very strange to see this different era of the world, a different period of time with oil candles, not traditional candles, and no magic to be seen at all. No nature to really be seen except for plants being taken care of and trees outside. And it moves forward again as you see that the parents and Alice and her sister are at dinner. And there's a knock at the door, and the father goes and answers it and opens the door, and there's this woman standing there. Nikolai, you instantly recognize it as the vision of the night that the incident happened, from the queen visiting and carrying out her will. She's in a skirt that comes below the knees, a nice jacket on, hat, kind of like a classic flapper style business attire. And she comes in and she's speaking to the father, and she's like, "Congratulations, you have won the prize. I am going to let your children live, but however, you're not going to." And before the father could react, some other gentlemen come in and grab the father and restrain him. And they filter into the house and restrain the mother, and one of the daughters, Alice's sister, grabs one of the knives and goes to stab one of the guys, and he turns around and slams her face into the table, and she falls lifeless to the ground. And the queen's like, "Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen." And she pulls out a firearm and shoots him point blank in the head, blowing his brains all over the table. She's like, "Oh, unfortunate, but I guess a little bit of confetti is okay. And they're dragged into the sitting room, and Alice is restrained, and they proceed to torture the parents for hours on end in front of Alice, and eventually leading up to their decapitation and execution. And the Red Queen walks over, and she's like, "Oh, and little Alice, darling, I lied." And she hits her in the face and knocks her out and leaves her in the house that is now going up in flames. And the next few flashes of memory show Alice wandering through the various streets of the orphan, eventually stone streets with strange mechanical vehicles, not a lot of horses or nature or magic anywhere. You see as what would be equivalent to a city crier standing on a street corner underneath some kerosene lamps, hollering out, "If you see someone that partakes in the forbidden arcane, report them to your local police. Work of the devils is not permitted among us." And Alice is eventually taken in by the police, being reported, and eventually finds herself in the asylum. And you can see something strange here. Do a perception, each of you.
Natural 20.
Nice.
Nice.
12.
Oof. It was a 20 and then decided to be an 8, so that would be a 14.
Oof.
You see is that she starts being essentially the first steps of the fixing what is wrong with her. They try the typical methods that are barbaric, and they even try more extreme methods: water submersion, electric torture, those sort of things. And she tries to retaliate, and they finally take her to a room, drag her to it, and deliver a lobotomy to her. And you see a fracture happen in the actual world Cayenne. You notice it instantly, and kind of raise an eyebrow, and you're like, you've never seen it happen in an identification. And as she's being taken back to her room, you listen a little bit, Cayenne, and you hear a patient go, "I remember when I used to run to my parents over the lawn." And then more things happen. And you hear another patient after Alice is being dragged out for another procedure. "My house burned down." And you hear another person after another procedure mention that their parents were killed in front of them. And you guys stand outside the room that Alice was thrown into, and you see a bunch of the orderlies go in and close the door, and you can hear screaming on the other side of the room. And it's easy for each of you to understand what they're doing. And this goes on and on and on. And do another perception. You would have advantage, Cayenne.
Modified 20.
18 for Nikolai.
You guys start picking up on a lot of the memories that Alice has from here are derived from overhearing things in the asylum. And you guys see her sitting by a door window in her gown, and you see something come up and nudge her, and you see that familiar purple wisp as it nuzzles her, and she reaches out and she touches it. And the Cheshire speaks, "Don't worry, you're not alone. I will keep you company." And eventually, you can, Nikolai, you instantly recognize it. You smell that smoke and the fire and the heat starting to happen. You realize the place where the Dormouse sent you was Alice's cell, the forbidden place.
Ah.
And the Alice sits in the room, basically just accepting what is going to happen to her, and the Cheshire provides a door for her, and she falls into the wilds. Much older, much more broken than before, but accepting her new place. And the Cheshire leads her across the wilds and eventually to meet up with the Hatter, who is also from the same time period, but seems a lot less mad or put together. That her influence essentially corrupted him over time. And the darkness overtakes you, and you guys are just flung about the room violently as you're pulled out of the memories.
Huh.
I think Cayenne's gonna try to recover as quick as she can to remove the bindings from Alice because she promised it was temporary.
You roll over on your stomach and crawl over and undo the shackles really quick, just breaking the entire circle. Like, fuck it, we're not going back in there.
Mm-mm. With that kind of violent reaction to be thrown out, I don't think it'd be a good idea.
Mongo,
Not right now.
you start to get up a little bit and you smell burning, and you're like, I'm still in there. And Nikolai, you look over and you notice that Mongo's tail is directly in the fireplace.
If I can't get over there quick enough, I'll use Precedent or Mage Hand to remove his tail from there.
You use Mage Hand and remove his tail from the fireplace.
Pat it out.
How are you responding to that, Mongo?
I think Mongo may throw up
You can certainly
because
throw
that
up.
was a wild fucking ride.
Looks like you had fun.
If watching a little girl be tortured is fun,
And
being
other
from where you're
violations that
from,
took place.
I guess it would be.
And Alice just sits there and she's like, was that enough?
I think that question should be answered by you. Does that help answer your questions?
I relive those memories all the time.
That just proves to you. It just proves that you've always been who you always been, even though you went through such shit at the hand of what everyone else considers normal people. I don't think Cheshire would have just showed up at random. It's not just coincidence.
You do know that from the memories that her entire childhood is basically a patchwork and very demented quilt of what she overheard other patients speaking of.
Yeah. And I'm trying to figure out like how to communicate that to her.
to a degree, Cheshire has always been there for me.
So, this little bit of like identification you've done there. Did it help figure things out for each of you?
Potentially.
Cayenne, do a deity logic according with advantage.
I don't think I'm going to do that again.
Advantage is a modified 20.
As you sit there with Alice, you look at her and you think about the memories that she had, and then it just kind of sinks into your stomach. You can ask her how many times she's come close to killing the Red Queen in her war.
How many times have you come close in your war?
Close to what?
Killing the Red Queen.
Many times. I just can't find it in myself to do that for some reason. And with that, Cayenne, it kind of cements in your head that her and the Red Queen are a lot closer related than you would think. And with that, we're going to call it a night. That's a hell of a
Right.
cliffhanger, isn't it?
Indeed, it is.
Alright, we'll make this a quick one. Angela, you didn't do much tonight, but favorite things?
Learning more about Alice. Always the lore drops.
What, truly
Uh,
realizing your mortality isn't that exciting?
I mean, that was already been realized. But that was definitely the big one. Another big one, having a little bit of a moment with Mongo.
Yeah.
There's that. That's about it. Didn't do a whole lot this session, but the lore is always welcome.
Nikolai?
That last bit, getting some more of the story for Alice was pretty awesome. Almost being roasted alive, that was memorable. Seeing the mantis get pounced upon by the Cheshire, that was entertaining. Having Cayenne speak for Nikolai's intents was pretty heartening for me as the player of the character. Not entirely sure that Nikolai's not entirely sure that others understand that the things that he does is only because of the best intentions. He doesn't do anything out of malice or spite, so he's not sure he knows. He's not sure that everybody knows that. So to have heard that is something that Nikolai would appreciate to hear. That's pretty cool. Some of the lore that you gave about the Dormouse and what she does and what she is, it was fascinating too.
Oh, I can't wait till you guys unpack more of these characters. There's a lot. What about you, Mongo?
Oh. The Dormouse is insane and making things that should kill everyone. and taking what they believe to be well-crafted notes, which are probably arguably worse than my handwriting. Having a bit of an exchange and a little eye-opening about something that Mongo's had under his belt for a while. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
More incentive for him to get that damn thing open. Identifying a god.
And living Toba.
Yeah. That was wild, Red. Getting my hands on that alter memory spell. Can't cast it yet, but
Mongo's like, I don't want to remember this. I don't want to remember this.
there's a chance he may try to cast this on himself.
I don't think that's advisable. Like, couldn't you like literally end up like putting yourself in a coma?
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. Know plenty of other spellcasters who can cast that spell.
What about you, Kyan?
There's a lot to choose from between basically meeting chosen grandma, because I'm sorry, I'm not choosing the cosmic unicorn. She's a bitch. She's rude. She broke grandpa's heart, so therefore she's a bitch and she can fuck off. Disrespectfully, I might add. But meeting Ilbala was great. I imagine like she's like almost like her base color is almost like the color of like bone khaki white, but with so like the sand brown fades to a lighter belly of like that bone white, and it looks like she has moss on her.
Yeah. I'll roll with that. That's pretty awesome.
It just seems like that would fit. It's like almost like grayed kind of overtone on top of it. Just the way that she talked and just how massive she was and how she was explained was really cool. Because I know that I remember earlier in the campaign it was said that Cayenne's mother had trouble conceiving at all, but it wasn't explained like what was happening to how Cayenne and Osling actually were born, so that was great. That was revealed. The visual that was described for the tree I really liked. It reminded me of this really pretty... it's not really a diorama, it's more so like when you saw like in like card shops, like the little like glass and porcelain trees they had like in little boxes that had like the dome top.
Yeah, I remember.
It reminded me of the tree minus the little thing it sat on in the dome, but how you described it being like glass is what it reminded me of. Being able to calm Alice down.
Yeah, that's Storm.
As a player, I loved the visuals of the Cheshire playing with the mantis, and just as they got more aggressive with it, their form just got more and more demonic.
Yeah. Like...
That added a little bit of more comedy and terror into it, which I actually like. I'm just glad that we're gonna be able to explain to Alice like who she is and why she is doing things the way that she does. And I also am very appreciative for the big reveal about her, even though I knew a couple of things, just not to how extreme the extent was of her stay. And how you described a more modernized world was really good without giving too much detail away. You described it as if someone who didn't actually know.
Yeah, finding out more about Alice's origins and how really dark they are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of surprised Cayenne shouldn't ask about what the witch wanted or needed with your mother's daughters, your blood. Like, I would be totally questioning that. Like, well, okay, well, what does you having or your tree having my blood mean now?
Oh, I will freely just let you guys know that the only food nourishment that the tree can actually take is actually from a divine being. That's the only source of nutrients that it can have. It can't accept nutrition any other way.
I could essentially be a holy blood donor for this tree.
Yeah, the
if I so chose to, and I would have ask nicely and approach to do so. Be like, sure, I can donate, no problem.
Yeah, the tree can only accept nutrition through divine blood, whether it be a pure cleric of the highest order, a paladin of the highest order, or an actual god.
I mean, you can't get more divine than that of a god.
So that's the explanation for the tree.
That's interesting.
Absolutely love the fact that there are anthropomorphic dinosaur people running around.
Yes.
It is pretty cool.
She's such a lovely, fun spirit. It's refreshing to play her when I'm dealing with Alice's group.
So what about you there, GM?
Some of it I just told you, and really digging into Alice's lore, I didn't want to go too dark of what they did to her in the asylum because it's pretty well assumed what they did to her over the course
Understandable.
of the time periods, and content like that with a really young character, I'm not going to entertain that. And yeah, the lore drops and really the interactions that you guys had together as players, that was fun for me. The one between Angelo and Cayenne, Angelo and Mongo, Mongo and Nikolai, Nikolai and Cayenne, and so forth. Your guys' interactions in session were really great. Cayenne getting to meet another Yaga witch and some of that lore explained.
And definitely is going to keep my line of communication open for her if she ever wants to speak or just chill.
Yeah, you have to visit her. She can't come into the material realm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are my highlights.